pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So roll call, let the roll call reflect that Director Sather is not here, as well as Director Peterson. All others are present. Student rep, we don't have yet. 5.0 agenda additions and deletions.
I don't show a list of them tonight. Under 9.0, the consent agenda, there's a couple of volleyball coaches, junior high and C team. We'd like to add, and the two for the 7-8 is split at this time until junior high volleyball starts, and if the numbers are really kind of expanded out as we have in the past. There's Kelly.
Okay. So,
Oh, sorry.
Kelly is present at 6:01.
The other one is the extracurricular agreement with Schubert. It is identical to the one we had last year. They do Monday through Friday, all of our extracurricular runs after school. We do Saturdays still. 12. Oh, sorry, I gotta back up. 12.1, under the principal's contract, we'd remove Appendix A, and then there's an MOU that I handed out to you regarding in the event the district opts to go with the principal and the Franklin. So we'd add that, remove one part, add another. The Schubert thing, 12.5, that's the door locks that we've been talking about with the keyless door locks for all the classroom doors. Installation on that was about $4,800. We talked about that last time. And then finally, 12.6, updating the plumber job descriptions. We, as you're probably well aware, have not had any success finding plumbers. So my recommendation at this time would be to drop the license requirement, and the job description stays the same. The only difference is the license requirement goes away and replaced by willing to go get it, as in we're going to train them in. Because as we approach heating season, I mean, we need somebody. We need somebody in there. So, I mean, we've muddled through, but it's time. And that's all I have.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's a lot. 6.0 visitor input. Anybody sign up?
No.
Nobody's emailed me either. 7.0 approve the agenda. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it with the agenda additions as noted.
Motion by Sather, support by Chad. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 8.0, approve the treasurer's report for the month of July and the first check writing of August.
Well, Madam Chair, for the receipts for the month of July, we had $1,344,944.21, disbursements of $340,752.04, payroll $599,570.54. The check balances in the Miners Bank is $4,047,114.80. First National Bank of Gilbert is $2,055,785.49 for a total between the two banks of $6,102,929. And for the first check writing of July, we had disbursements of $269,714.25. And that's it.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Also move we accept the treasurer's report for the month of July and the first check writing.
Do we have a second?
Support.
Okay. Motion by Gentilini, support by Sather. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.0 consent agenda. A, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Monday, July 23rd, 2018. B, approve the lane change request of Rebecca Diedrich. C, approve the lane change request of Paula Madden. D, accept the junior high football coach resignation. And E, approve the 2018-2019 fall coaching assignments with the addition of the C-team volleyball coach and the 7th and 8th grade volleyball coaches and their pay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will support. Motion by Sather, support by Lotiger. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Nothing was removed from the consent agenda. 11.0 personnel. 11.1 approve the 1.0 FTE elementary teaching assignment of Cody Baker. Anything?
Yeah, this will be second grade in Franklin. This is due to, we had a hard time finding a business teacher this year, and previously we had computers as a elementary specialist, and we had to move that individual into the high school junior high, to teach some of those courses in order to keep that program alive. And as a result, we moved to art as an elementary specialist, which was taking someone out of the third grade classroom and putting them in that art position, thus opening up that one.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 1.0 FTE for Cody Baker.
Support.
Motion by Sather, support by Gentilini. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I have a discussion.
Oh, discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any internal candidates for this position?
Referring to,
The second grade? This elementary, the full-time elementary teacher spot?
did we have people that
Interested?
work for us? Yeah.
Did they receive interviews?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Is there a reason why they didn't?
I'm guessing if that's a personnel thing.
No, I can skirt around that a little bit. It does deserve explanation. I just gotta think about how I'm gonna phrase it quickly. We have a really difficult time, unfortunately, finding people to work for us, as oddly as that may sound. I mean, 10 years ago it wasn't that way. Some positions are extremely hard, others are less hard, but all of them are very hard to fill. And oftentimes when we get people that are in positions that are extremely hard to fill, it's a matter of if we move them, cutting that program or not. And that's the unfortunate thing of the market that we're in right now, is we don't have the luxury of allowing a lot of internal movement when we depend on certain people to do jobs that they've already been hired for. It is a bummer, I understand that, but that's the reality that we currently live in. And when the interview team convenes, I mean, they make a decision that's in the best interest of the whole district. And there was a time when we did the best interest of the individuals, but we can't do that anymore.
So the interviewing committee has input into that? Is that what you're saying? The interviewing committee
As
has
to who gets
input?
hired?
Well, as to, you said that they look at what's in the best interest of the district as a whole. So does that mean that they have input into that when you're looking at who's interviewed, or?
When we're looking at who's interviewed?
Yeah.
No, that's the admin team that decides who's interviewed. But the team itself makes the decision as to where people go. We kind of stay out of that part of it.
This, I think we should have a conversation about this at some time. I don't know if it's right now. There's people, they have rights.
No,
Well,
there's
children
no one nobody had rights.
If they're licensed, if they're qualified, if a person is qualified, they have the right to be interviewed by the district that employs them for positions of future employment.
I completely get what Mr. Carey is saying, because the county has to make those decisions.
Yep,
I have the luxury
understand.
in my division where we don't, and we're able to allow movement where people are wanting to go, and that's
Yeah.
great. Children and Family Services, who has high turnover, who has a hard time finding employees, and they don't. And sometimes people are told you can't leave and you can't transfer into other jobs, and you have to stay here for a certain number of hours or a certain number of
That's the
years.
county we're talking, school district.
But I'm saying it's not unheard of practice, generally speaking.
I can see both sides.
So,
I can
yes.
see both
I-
sides.
I mean,
I see what
the
you're
other side of it
saying.
too, but
But you can also look at it as if a person is applying for another position within the school district, they're applying because they have interest in whatever that position is. And
Don't they deserve a chance
well-
to be heard even?
well,
The
I
Equal
think
Opportunity?
that,
Equal Opportunity Act?
well, I think that,
You're gonna close the door on people just because they're a good
I just don't
teacher
want
or
people
whatever.
to jump ship because they're not getting opportunities
Well,
to
they might though,
interview for.
that's the thing.
So like I said, I can see both sides of it, and like you had mentioned, maybe we need to have a
Discussion,
discussion on that.
I don't know if that's right here or not. I'm sure the person that's recommended is an outstanding teacher. It's not about that, it's just the process.
But I mean, it comes down to, do you want to, I mean, we're faced with having to cut programs if we can't staff them. I mean, and I know it doesn't seem right, it doesn't seem fair, but that's one of the unfortunate things about being in management is we have to make those decisions.
Yeah, I see
I
both
see both
sides of
sides, I mean, I understand it.
it, you know.
And it doesn't feel good to be this person, but sometimes you have to.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to have a discussion on, and at another, down the road, at another study session or something, and have a discussion about it as well, but I do see both sides. I see what you're saying, Derek, and I also see what Jeff is saying. You know,
So we had two candidates apply from within, and neither of them qualified for this position, or you just want to see them move just because it'll disrupt something else?
I think what I understood him saying is that they may have been qualified for the position. If I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but what I'm understanding is they may have been qualified for the position, but the position they're currently holding is a position that's
Be hard to fill.
hard to fill, and that's why they went with other applicants. I mean, if they're given an opportunity to interview and it's deemed that somebody else is more qualified, I understand that. Maybe we should just, I don't know, maybe we should be allowing interviews. I don't know.
I mean, was there?
I don't know what the answer is to that.
Was there interviews granted? Did these other two individuals have interviews? Oh. tough on them.
Well, and
Right, that's where I'm coming from.
but part of me too is, I don't think it's fair to interview someone if you know you're not gonna hire them. I think that is a complete waste of time for
think-
that person, and
Yeah,
that's
but we
not
don't-
even fair.
I know, but
So, I mean,
But the
like
committee, that's why-
administrative, if administration made a decision not to hire them, I don't think it's fair to say,
But
oh,
that's why
here,
we have-
come
Well, no, 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 no.
interview.
I think what
No,
it
I mean,
comes
it's-
down to.
I know what you guys are saying.
I think what
but-
it comes down to is the communication piece.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case,
We need to
can you have
communicate to
that?
them.
Can you communicate that with them, or?
Not the greatest idea.
Okay. Well, I don't know,
I mean,
I'm sorry it has to be this way.
I just hope that that there's no negative ramifications come of this, being that if those two people applied for those positions, that it leaves a bad taste in their mouth and they jump ship in the future. I mean, I'd hate to have that happen, but that seems kind of the trend, maybe.
Well, I mean, the ultimate answer is we need to figure out a way to pay our early childhood people what they should be getting. This should be on the teacher's contract. But we're just not there. That would solve some of that problem.
I mean, if someone applies, I think everybody should be granted an interview, at least,
If they qualify.
if they qualify.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
just, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's why you have committees, that's why you have a hiring process. It's not just, that's the one we want.
Right.
Do they,
Yeah.
have we ever had anyone grieve this within the unit?
There's nothing to grieve.
There's nothing to grieve on the contract?
I mean, bottom line, I believe that you establish a process, you stick to it, and it gives people opportunity. There are acts out there that tell us to do so. So,
Has this person ever worked with our district before, or where's this person from?
No, they're new.
Yeah.
right, that's why I asked the question, this isn't someone from outside. You know what I'm saying? This is not from within.
I
But we
hear
have-
what you're
yeah,
saying, I hear what you're both saying.
Yeah,
Just because they're from within doesn't make them qualified either.
right, but we don't
Not
need,
all the time,
you know,
but
but can
Some
we,
of the times, definitely.
can we say that they're, I mean, without giving them a shot, a chance? I mean, if they have the proper teaching license, aren't they qualified? Yeah. Like, I think we need to start giving people that opportunity. And we shouldn't
We
go
do
into
when we
it.
can.
Right, well,
We've moved lots of people up, but sometimes we can't.
well,
And sometimes we're begging our teachers to go into positions that are not their favorite, and they have taken different classroom switches or different things because that's something that we've needed, and then that's not necessarily their ideal, but they also know that that's something that's needed for the school in order to maintain something.
well, they don't know that if it's not being communicated. It was just stated earlier, it's a bad idea to communicate this to them. So they are clueless to why they aren't being spoken to or getting a courteous call or response or an interview. It's not proper, it's not right. They don't know. It has nothing to do with this person, or it's just, that's the
So what you're
process.
saying, that there should be some sort of communication back to them, reason why they weren't considered for the position, or?
And you said that's not a good idea, Jeff. Why is that? I mean, is that, why do you?
I could, I just gotta be careful.
How many applied for this?
We actually had quite a... No, we interviewed 7.
Great.
So earlier today, it was hard to, the explanation is hard to fill spots. We had 7 or 8 applicants. And those those were interviewed, and another from within. Two or three, So it appears, it's just my observation, that it's not that difficult to fill these spots.
But okay, so assumptions are being made, and I literally am oblivious to what you're talking
No.
about, so I'm assuming you might know some more that I don't know. So,
Well-
one sec. If they're specialized positions, we know that we are having a difficult time filling specialized positions, specialized teaching assignments. So specifically science or math or, the specialties. Those are difficult. So, I mean, I don't know if those are, I think there's only so many assumptions that could be made. I don't know if those are the positions or whatever was being needed. Right now, we have someone that just got moved over into the business to be teaching business. And she's been teaching in elementary for how many years? I mean, she's been over there for quite a few years already. Is that her ideal? I don't know, but, or else we could have ended up cutting a business program. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know if you have more history. I don't know, but I just.
I'm just speaking on behalf of our employees,
I know.
So that's why I'm here.
I know, but I also want to speak for
The administration and
administration
decision.
too, because that's hard too.
Yep.
And I don't want to see programs cut either, and because that's for our students. And I want to speak up for our students and make sure that we're serving the curriculum that we need to be serving for them too.
And so for this position, I'd just be going forward, I'd be very curious to hear how many people are interviewed and how many people were candidates, how many people actually were submitted letters of interest. And then we'll know, all right, yeah, we're seeing this through. But right now, there are people that we are saying, you're going to stay here too. You're not moving because we don't think we can fill it. We're not giving them an opportunity that maybe they deserve. At least a chance. That's all anybody can ask for is a chance.
So basically, it comes down to allowing people to interview for a position and giving them that
Just an opportunity. Yeah, equal opportunity act. It's a real deal.
Giving them the opportunity and having open lines of communication is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, especially if they're qualified. If they're not qualified, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me address that, everyone. Thank you. That was important.
All right. So, we have a motion on the table for the approval of the 1.0 FTE elementary teaching assignment of Cody Baker. We were about to do all those in favor. So, back to all those in favor. Aye. Opposed?
Nate?
Motion carries. 11.2, approve the 1.0 FTE elementary teaching assignment of Stephanie Youngman.
Stephanie would be fifth grade? Fifth grade.
Okay. Fifth grade, you said? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 1.0 FTE for Stephanie Youngman.
Do we have a second? Second. Motion by Sather, second by Chad. Any discussion?
Was there interest internally on this one as well?
It happened on the same day. The last one and this one, it was on the same day.
Okay.
Same position. I mean, well, different grade, but I mean, essentially the same position.
Okay.
So yes, right? There's like...
Right.
Okay. Yeah. They're both open on the same day. Got it.
So all the applicants were open positions?
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Nate?
Opposed?
Nate?
Motion carries. 11.3, approval 1.0 FTE secondary physical education health teaching assignment of Richard Wint.
Earlier this summer, the board had hired a replacement position for this. Of course, that individual then backed out and went somewhere else, so this was, Mr. Wint was the committee's next choice.
Okay, do we have a motion? I will make the motion to approve a 1.0 FTE as a secondary physical education health assignment of Richard Went. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Lotiger, second by Mulner. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11.4, approve the early childhood education teaching assignment of Ellen Williams.
Miss Allen's been with us for probably 4 or 5 years now, 4 years. Of course, she's been on a community expert license, which is why we have to lay her off every year. State of Minnesota extended that for this year only, so she's either going to have to get a license, which I think she's close to, or we're not. This could be it for that position too.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Addy, second by Gentilini. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 12.0, new business. 12.1, approve the 2017 to 2019 principals contract with the addition of the MOU, correct?
Removing Appendix A and adding the MOU.
Okay, so we need a motion to reflect that as well.
I'll move.
I will support Addy, motion, support by Lotiger. Any discussion?
I would make a motion to table this contract, to further do a little bit more studying and comparing against the previous contract.
We already have a motion, though. We have a, Bill made the motion, and I supported.
But I can still make that motion, even though it's been supported.
Even after
Yeah.
a motion is made? He can? Right,
Not
and
to
have a
approve it.
vote? That's what I'm under the understanding that once a motion is on the table, we need to vote on it, and if it's a,
You could at least have discussion. on it
Discussion.
first.
yeah. So we're having discussion right now, so share what you were going to share, Tom. And
Okay.
then we'll figure it out.
According to this, the administration is recommending that the remove the Appendix A and add the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, what does the memorandum of understanding consist of?
We had discussed that
There
at
should
the,
be a copy of it in front of you.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
But what does the Principals Association to reopen negotiations regarding Article 1, Section 1?
We had talked about, because, they're on one salary now.
Hmm?
We had talked about in the event the district decides to go with a Franklin principal, that we would reopen and have a different salary for Franklin.
Yeah.
There was concern that there were lower duties and it might look
How does the,
different.
how does the Dean of Students play into this?
Doesn't at all. If the district decides to go with a full-time principal in Franklin, that would trigger negotiations for the salary for that individual. That's the only thing that's
Okay,
covered.
all right.
Well, I've been on the not the team, negotiating team, I don't understand that, but on the negotiation committee. No. This is another article again here, and there's different language in here, I'm sure. And the other contracts that we negotiated, as a negotiating committee, we had copies of the contract, the previous contract, and then a copy of the new contract. And then we negotiated with both the unions, teachers and ASME unions. This one, who's the team?
The negotiations team was, we've sat down all together and talked about the principal's contract and had negotiations all together. And I think we've even had work study sessions as well about this. Were you there too?
I was at one.
The only change that was made to it was the salary. They got an extra $50 on the health insurance, single and family, and an extra $200 on the deferred comp. I mean, there's only those three changes. I mean, nothing else in there changed. Other than that, it's identical for the way it was last year.
And I did review the previous
I don't have a copy of the previous
contract. I contacted him and asked for the previous contract to just compare it. So I looked over it too. I mean, I looked over it as well, and that's the only thing that I saw was the difference in the insurance. So there was a difference in health insurance, and it looked like it was only a $50 difference, even a little bit less from the last time. And I highlighted
First
it.
comp went from 2,300 to 2,500.
Yeah, that.
And the salary.
And then the salary is no longer steps like it used to be, and it's.
Well, I recall discussing something probably in study session, which that's consensus. There's no votes taken there. I still think the board should, 2 weeks, or we have a meeting in between here and have a special meeting, go over this contract. Is there any, so the whole board can make the comparison? And vote on it then?
I don't necessarily have an issue with that, Tom, but my concern is this is for 2017 to 2019. We're in 2018. So they've been waiting on their contract to be signed. We have had meetings regarding the pay and all the other things that, the deferred comp, and we have had meetings on those. So it's not like we haven't had discussions about some of these things.
They didn't ask for any language change,
And unless, the only reason why I could see doing that is if the board saw something wrong with the previous contract that they want to adjust for this next contract. Yeah. I mean, the dates changed. So that's something I noticed, but there wasn't anything different about any leaves or anything like that. The last page was removed.
That's that Appendix A?
Yeah, that Appendix A.
I had just told Justine, I gave her the three things, the salary, the deferred comp, and I said update all the dates and that, and she did that. She was not aware of Appendix A, so when it came to my attention, we tossed that out. But other than that, it's just those three things and the dates that have been changed.
So,
I understand what you're saying, Brandy. There's really not a whole lot changed in there. Right, just the percentages, the dollar amount, the insurance, and deferred comp. Basically, everything's the same, just for the numbers changed, adjusted for inflation or whatever.
They've negotiated their contract. So if there was anything in there that they didn't agree with or didn't want, I would assume that they would have they would make that contact with somebody.
And we did appear to reach consensus on everything. I mean, I think that's why we're having the vote now, is there didn't appear to be any.
The only other thing that I could see, Tom, is the MOU. Being that we got the MOU tonight, I can understand that maybe you want to look that over. There's not a whole lot in there other than if a third principal is added for the Franklin, that salary negotiations would take place if that decision is made, but...
And that would be a separate negotiated salary, correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. But otherwise, if any other board members would have wanted that, to take a look at that contract, that's something readily available. The previous contract? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody else had...
That memorandum of understanding is essentially stating that we can reopen the wages, salaries, that discussion, that amount for that K through 4 Franklin Elementary. That's all that's saying.
Correct.
It's just referring you right back to the very first page, Article 1, Section 1, which
Correct.
talks salary. And that was something we discussed as a group. We did just have that discussion as a group about that.
And it was discussed at the last board meeting that the MOU would be added on to the contract in case that were to happen, that a principal is put up at the Franklin.
But you said that, that would be a separately negotiated salary, correct?
Yeah, that was the idea behind it, is that the amount that we're currently paying principals, it was felt that if we did put a full-time principal up there, that we should have a different salary amount, like a lower salary amount.
Which is understandable.
So we currently have a motion on the table to approve the 2017-2019 principals contract. And Justine, the motion was made by Bill. Did I second that? You did. Okay. I just didn't write it down, sorry.
Excuse me.
So we need to take a vote on that. And then if it's voted on, Tom, and then if it's a vote and people vote no, that they don't want to approve it now, you can make a motion to table or whatever. My understanding. Is that correct? Mark, do you know?
Once you vote on it, there's nothing to say.
Mark?
Yeah, I'd say once it's voted on, but I'm table it. Because at that point, it's going to be reopened for, I mean, you're going to bring it back up again another time anyways. If we don't approve this contract, then we have to open it up at a later date. So basically, no vote is tabling it.
Well, and just what you said, unless the people who made the motion were to withdraw their motion.
If they want to withdraw their motion,
that would be different too then. But if there is a motion, then we should probably make...
The time to table it, the best time would have been during approving the agenda as stated too, but you can still do it now, but...
Thank you. I don't know everything, so I'm just...
It's
it's a learning process for me too.
That's just my understanding.
So my understanding then, Tom, the way I'm understanding what Mark is saying, is we've got a motion on the table. We can do that vote, or somebody would have to withdraw their motion. So at this time, I guess I will ask for all those in favor. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
I'm an aye on that. I have to think about it. Aye.
Okay, you're an aye?
Think about it. Yeah.
Okay,
My
so
apologies.
I need clarification. So can I ask you for a roll call vote on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Director Gentilini?
No?
Director Chad?
Yes.
Director Addy?
I'll abstain.
Director Sather is a yes. Director Ladiger?
Yes.
Director Mullner?
Yes.
And Director Peterson is absent. So that would be 3 yeses, 1 abstaining, and 1 no, and 1 absent.
So, yeah.
4 yes.
Or sorry.
4 yeses, 1 abstention, and 1 no.
Ignore my scribble.
All right. Motion carries. 12.2, approve the 2018-2019 student handbooks.
Madam Chair, I have the principals over here. Do you guys want to speak to anything in there?
At the high school level, I didn't have any major changes, except that we had to put in our handbooks starting this year that parents have the option to opt their kids out of our statewide testing, our MCAs. So that verbiage was added into the end of our handbook.
And we had, for the Gilbert campus, we did have a little bit of a schedule change. Junior high lunch got pushed back to after 4th hour this year, so that lunch comes at 11:37 instead of 10:44.
That's a relief.
Let's see. The elementary lunch schedule was adjusted a little bit to save time with their eating duties. And then about at the bottom of page 8, I met with a group of teachers from Gilbert campus in June, right after school got out, and we discussed in depth inserting a school-wide discipline plan. And you can see that there on page 8, 9, and it ends on page 10. It's just a list of certain infractions along with some of the actions that we'll take as a school. And then we added the last few pages of the statewide testing mandate.
Could I ask a scheduling question?
Go for it.
For elementary, have we ever looked at reversing the lunchtime and recess?
We do.
Can I
did.
stop for a
Oh, for
minute?
you?
Can I just stop for a minute? Because I think we need to get a motion and a
Oh,
second
do we?
first and
Sorry.
then have
Sorry.
discussion.
Okay.
So, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the 2018-2019 student handbook?
And books? All 3?
Yep,
There's 3 of them.
there's,
Okay. I'll move.
Support?
okay, so motion by Addy, support by Sather. Any discussion?
Was there anything in here that regarding gate fees or anything? Gate fees at games at all?
I don't think that's not a part of the student handbook.
Okay, I just didn't know.
It came out, I think it's on the district website,
Yeah, we
perhaps the
just published
changes.
on the website that, and we actually have passes printed for all the kids now.
Oh, great.
Good.
That is in the senior high handbook, because I did change it, that there was no charge for the fees.
What
It
page
is
is
in the
that?
high school, because I changed that verbiage.
What page would that be?
Get the-
So we actually printed all of them on like a key card, so we have kids coming and going all day long too, and our doors are going to be locked, so they'll have access when they come back. You know, they'll have access to the building.
It's It's on the top of page 11. Second paragraph.
So keys will be access to like a couple of main doors. open?
There'll be like a 10-minute window when they're arriving back so they can get in the building.
So the elementary schedule
Yeah,
for lunch and recess. So that's been discussed many times.
yeah. What we really run into there is, again, it becomes a staffing issue, unfortunately. I can certainly explain that to you more in depth and not spend a whole lot
Yeah,
of time.
no,
but
and that's, yeah.
I mean, obviously, research shows it's a better option. We're well aware of that and work towards that. But we might actually get a couple grades out there this year, just because it's one of the benefits of the high school coming up there now, because it gives us a little more flexibility with people.
Okay.
I have a question about,
Can I just, one more thing on Kelly's thing. So we do have two grades. We have fourth grade that starts at 10:50 and third grade that starts at 10:55, and then the high school comes in. So for those two grades to go, I mean, it's really cutting into the prime morning time. So those two we don't consider at all. But we are looking at
K through 2.
K through 2. Go ahead.
so my question is, I've received a lot of phone calls about discipline in particular. So I'm looking at the junior high, pages 8 and 9. So there's reference there about, and you said that the staff had input into this as well, you said, at the end of the school year. So it looks like there's a minor, a middle, and a major. So right off the bat, if they, leave campus without permission, there's those consequences. But I guess my concern is, okay, how about that kid that swears every day on the playground, or disrespects his or her teacher frequently? Are there steps for reoccurring behaviors?
Yeah, if you kind of read on the action side, it allows things to move. Step 1, 2, 3, we can move down right to major, and at the very bottom, it allows for the flexibility that administration reserves the right to expedite any disciplinary process, pending the circumstances. So I mean, it's cut and dried so people can read and follow this as a plan, but we can move things along much quicker if we need to.
Okay, that's my only concern, and I'm assuming that we are going to continue with the detention
Yes.
person.
Yep.
So if it becomes a classroom issue and the 24 other students aren't able to learn because of the interruptions, that detention is an option.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have any further discussion on any concerns?
I know it's a small issue on that gate administration thing for free, but I think it should be in the other one. If you got it in the high school, and it
I'll
should-
put it in.
All right.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Just if people don't have access to the internet or whatever, at least they can read it in the book that the kid's gonna bring home. And hopefully the parents read it.
And Angie already has it, so you can just copy and paste it right into that.
Yeah.
And it is in my welcome back letter too, and then
Yeah, that's much.
that will be going home to all the parents and students, and we'll make sure it's well advertised at the beginning of the school year too with our announcements, so they all know they get it free.
Perfect.
Yeah, very good.
All right.
Full stand, full post.
Yeah.
Pitched it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
At all sports.
Maybe.
I'm hoping.
Bring out the shirt cannon.
Dream big.
Any further discussion? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.3, approve the resolution number 666 relating to the election of school board members and calling the school district general election.
Madam Chair, obviously this is just for calling the school district election, but the sample, I just want to point your attention to the sample ballot that was in the board packet. Doesn't reflect necessarily who has signed up. It's just a sample ballot. There's still tomorrow yet. It hasn't closed yet.
So if there's anybody out there that wants to get on the school board, please do so. I'm sure they'll probably see this afterwards, but,
Yeah.
so, I'm asking for a motion for the following.
Resolution number 666, resolution relating to the election of school board members and calling the school district general election. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2154 as follows. 1, it is necessary for the school district to hold its general election for the purpose of electing 3 school board members for terms of 4 years each. The clerk shall include on the ballot the names of the individuals who file affidavits of candidacy on said general election during the period for filing such affidavits as though they had been included by name in this resolution. The clerk shall not include on the ballot the names of individuals who file timely affidavits of withdrawal in the manner specified by law. 2, the general election is hereby called and elected to be held in conjunction with the state general election on Tuesday, the 6th day of November 2018. 3, pursuant to Minnesota statute section 205A.11, the precincts and polling places for this general election are those polling places and precincts or parts of precincts located within the boundaries of the school district and which have been established by the cities or towns located in whole or in part within the school district. The voting hours at those polling places shall be the same as the state general election. 4, the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause written notice of said election to be provided to the county auditor of each county in which the school district is located in whole or in part at least 74 days before the date of said election. The notice shall include the date of said general election and the office or offices to be voted on at said general election. Any notice given prior to the date of the adoption of this resolution is ratified and confirmed in all respects. The clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of said general election to be posted at the administrative offices of this school district at least 10 days before the date of said general election. The clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause a sample ballot to be posted at the administrative offices of the school district at least 4 days before the dates of said general election, and to cause 2 sample ballots to be posted in each polling place on election day. The sample ballot shall not be printed on the same color paper as the official ballot. The sample ballot for a polling place must reflect the offices, candidates, and rotation sequence on the ballots used in that polling place. The clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of said general election to be published in the official newspaper of the school district for 2 consecutive weeks, with the last publication being at least 1 week before the date of said election. The notice of election, so posted and published, shall state the offices to be filled as set forth in the form of ballot below, and shall include information concerning each established precinct and polling place. The clerk is authorized and directed to cause the rules and instructions for use of the optical scan voting system to be posted in each polling place on election day. 5, the clerk is authorized and directed to acquire and distribute such election materials as may be necessary for the proper conduct of this election, and generally to cooperate with election authorities conducting other elections on that date. The clerk and members of the administration are authorized and directed to take such actions as may be necessary to coordinate this election with those other elections, including entering into agreements or understandings with appropriate election officials regarding preparation and distribution of ballots, election administration, and cost sharing. 6, the clerk is further authorized and directed to cause or to cooperate with the proper election officials to cause ballots to be prepared for use at said election in substantially the following form, with such changes in form, color, and instructions as may be necessary to accommodate the optical scan voting system. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded. Oh, yeah.
We need a
roll
motion.
call.
We need a motion.
Isn't there like just a continuation of that?
Just for the record, I asked Christine to
Oh,
skip over that resolution number.
Am I not done?
I thought we should pass over that one.
I'm not done, you guys.
Well, you're not done.
Continuation of 6.
Oh,
After the sample ballot, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Addy. Optical scan ballots must be printed on white material except that marks to be read by the automatic tabulating equipment may be printed in another color ink. The name of the precinct and machine readable identification must be printed on each ballot. Voting instructions must be printed at the top of the ballot on each side that includes ballot information. The instructions must include an illustration of the proper mark to be used to indicate a vote. Lines for initials of at least 2 election judges must be printed on one side of the ballot so that the judge's initials are visible when the ballots are enclosed in a secrecy sleeve. 7, the name of each candidate for office at this election shall be rotated with the names of other candidates for the same office in the manner specified in Minnesota law. 8, the individuals designated as judges for the state general elections shall act as election judges for this election at the various polling places and shall conduct said election in the manner described by law. The election judges shall act as clerks of elections, count the ballots cast, and submit them to the school board for canvass in the manner provided for other school district elections. The general election must be canvassed between the 3rd and 10th day following the general election.
All right. So we need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 666 relating to the election of school board members and calling the school district general election.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Sather, second by Chad. Any discussion?
Any other people sign up, Jeff?
yeah, we've had, and it is public, so I can see, we had, let's see, Darlene, Derek, Schobert.
Matt?
Matt Schobert, and one more.
Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah. Joe Sorkin?
Okay. So we need a roll call vote.
Okay, we're going to switch it up. Director Malner,
Aye, or yes. Yes.
Director Peterson is absent. Director Lotiger,
Yes.
Director Sather is a yes. Director Addy,
Yes.
Director Chad,
Yes.
and Director Gentilini.
Yes.
And that is 6 yeses and 1 absent.
All right. Motion carries. Moving on to 12.4, approve the 2018-2019 extracurricular agreement with Schubot Transportation.
Madam Chair, as I stated when we added this, Schubot does our Monday through Friday extracurricular runs. We do not have the manpower to do that. We tried it once. We still do weekends with our guys. There is no increase over last year, so that's good. And we've been doing 1 years in the event we figure something else out, so we're only tied in for a year.
Okay, do we have a motion? I will make the motion. Do we have a second?
I will, oh, go ahead.
Second by Chad. Any discussion?
Do you know, Jeff,
Yeah.
do you know what the cost difference is if we had these guys do versus having our guys do it if they were willing to take the work? I mean, what would we save?
By having our guys?
Yeah.
It actually, we tried it for, must have been about 5 or 6 months, 3 years ago maybe. It's hard to calculate because you're taking people off their normal runs to go on these extracurricular runs. So I mean, we're hiring other people to do those runs. So I mean, it was really convoluted as far as cost savings. On the surface, there really wasn't one because we're paying these guys overtime basically for all their runs, whereas we're just obviously we're just paying a company to do these runs.
They've been on time for the pickups?
We had one mishap last year out of all of them, so I mean,
One.
wasn't bad.
It's on the way to Ely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
What is the proposal?
Oh, there should be a second side to that.
No.
Oh, there isn't. Uh-oh. No, I can make that. Sorry about that. I thought I had copied. Apparently I failed copying 101.
I've had to copy things here before too and failed epically.
Doesn't nothing ever load when you really want it to? It just sits here and spins. $2.12 a mile. There is a surcharge on there on all their routes. There's $75 flat fee and then $2.12 a mile.
Thank you.
They also charge $16 for sitting, meaning when the game is going on, whereas we don't have that luxury in our contract. We pay our guys full price.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 12.5, approve the door lock quote from Gilbert.
This is, Madam Chair, this is we talked about the last study session. I don't think you were probably absent for that one.
gone.
We did talk about putting key cards on all the classroom doors, interior doors, with the ability to lock them all down from a remote location. There's a smartphone app on it. You can lock all the doors if need be. Hopefully we don't have to. But there's also a standard key backup if the power goes out. So I mean, pretty good deal. Last time we didn't end up supporting it because I didn't have an installation cost. But you can see on the hopefully back page of that there is $4,800 to do that, and that's the entire district, and it's going to be about 100 doors.
So it's $4,800 to install all 97 doors?
Yep.
So that's, okay. That's labor that's just labor to install every single door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost of the hardware is the $62,000 you see on the front page. Yeah.
Is there a grant available for this?
Yes.
Okay, did we apply for that?
Yeah.
We did. Oh, did anything put back on it?
Well, it's not due until 29th of August,
Oh,
and so we'll find out shortly after there, I'd imagine. But either way, I would recommend the district does this, even if we don't get that.
That just seems so cheap for
Install.
97 doors, it's $4,800.
That's a good price.
I mean, and you said they have to
That's what
drill,
you-
they have to mortise into the door and stuff, or?
Yeah, most of our doors are wood, so you have you got the lock set, and then there's a card reader, and they're gonna have to mortise a little wire down onto the lock set. So, yeah, I don't know, apparently they have a little jig that does it really quick,
So
so.
how many different style of doors do you have between the campuses? I mean, all the doors can't be the same.
No, this campus is pretty much the same, but Gilbert's are different.
Okay,
And Gilbert actually has a bunch of different varieties of door.
okay, all right.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right.
That's all I got.
We
Had a
have
motion?
We need a motion, yeah, we skipped the discussion.
No, you had a motion, we had a discussion.
We did-
No,
we did
I
have a
started
motion.
out, I screwed it up. I
Sorry.
just said what it was, and there was
Okay.
no motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the door
Okay.
lock.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Sather, second by Addy. Any further discussion?
Just a point for whenever they're installed, you can get copies of those keys to each police department.
Sure,
That's very
yeah.
helpful for us, so.
I hear you.
I'm sure you remember, but friendly reminder, every now and then we don't get keys.
Yeah, actually, I think we may have to get, because we just redid the exteriors on this
Yeah,
campus, and we gotta get that done.
if it's a certain system, it might jive with we have keys for our office that might be able to program our keys in, so we don't even need to take your keys, but
Okay.
that's just a reminder, that's all.
Yep.
That's all.
Good point.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will abstain because I didn't get in on all that conversation about it, so I will abstain. 12.6, approve the updated plumber job description.
On both of them, if you look on the second page, under part 7, where it says certificates and license and registration, the only change on both of them, like I said at the outset, is the last sentence. It used to say, must have X license, now it says willingness to obtain weather's license.
So how are we gonna monitor that, Jeff? Who's gonna monitor the hours for the Department of Labor and Industry then?
Well,
This individual can get a license then eventually.
right now, we contract an individual that has a license, and he's the one that has been following that and reporting to Mike about where they're at with the hours. Like we know, the one we currently have, we know when the next test is ahead of time,
Okay.
months ahead of time, and that they are progressing. I mean, this is my best suggestion as to how to keep what we got and hopefully find another one, because I mean,
You need a motion.
yeah, oh, sorry. I did it again.
You need a motion. I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Lotiger, support by Addy. Now discussion.
Now I'm done talking.
Anybody else have any questions?
As long as if this person does get this this position, that we monitor to make sure that that person, not qualifies, but post the hours
Yeah.
to get that license, so we can relieve the guy that has actually been paying, we've been paying.
Through the nose.
Okay, yeah, through the nose, actually. I mean, we're paying the guy, the employee, wages to do that. So if this person can post those hours and get that license right away, that'd be great.
Well, it'd be 2 people.
Right,
That's the idea.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13.0 administrative reports and information.
All right. Want to talk a little bit about collaboration update. So last week we had our first academic task force meeting. We had probably about 60 people there, I didn't count, but between 60 and 70 people that participated. It was, a lot of groundwork was laid. Toward the end of the meeting, we did talk a little bit about moving forward and how the process for, and what the end goal was. So there was a little activity at the end, but no, 2 days from now, this next Wednesday, we have our second meeting set up. We'll get more into the meat of it, and hopefully we'll have a little clearer view by the end of that. And probably we'll need a third meeting, which will be then a week from Wednesday then. So right now we...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Could I ask you who, if we have a board member participating in this one?
Brandy.
Okay. So I know if you were looking for someone. Okay.
So then, and I'll get to more of it at the end of this. I stuck the timeline on there. I'll show you kind of where we're at in the whole process. But. So anyway, that went really well. I want to talk a little bit about staffing. I think we're all full with teaching positions, right? We're still short 5 paraprofessionals, and we're short a plumber and a custodian. We do have a couple custodian applications, so we'll work on that this week. Hopefully with the change in job description, maybe we'll get a plumber application. We do have a couple paraprofessional applications as well. So we got a couple weeks, but it's getting tight. I want to talk a little bit about the grant projects that we talked about at the beginning of summer, just so you know where they're at. And I forgot to take a picture of the process, but that link hallway, that's where the stink was. They did tear that up in the last couple weeks. They very much found what it was. There was some water leakage in there, and there was some insulation that got really, really nasty. So this should solve the problem for now.
So are they going to, what was the leak cost from the windows?
Yeah, came through the windows. Sidewalks are pretty much done. You're looking at the Gilbert before and after. That tripping hazard that was there at the bus stop before looks great. This is the bus entrance on the Franklin side where everyone drops, and you can't really see the dip in the old one there, but we should have less pooling there and ice problems. Now this is the...
My football player slipped on that one today. Coming back, you're going to figure that out.
It's not winter yet.
I know. They got the cleats running up there, and they're falling on that. It's like, all right, guys, walk.
Not good.
No.
Here you're looking at the Franklin playground. We'll clean that up. A lot that looks great. But here's the key to the operation. So the drainage, we're hoping that solves that problem. There's a storm sewer at the end of that little spillway they created there. So hopefully we can get all the water going that way, and we don't have the big mess that we had before.
Is there, so I'm looking at that picture, all I see are children twisting their ankles.
Where? On that?
Oh, and that
Yeah.
thing? It was there before.
Was it?
Yeah, it's just covered up by wood chips right now, but that same situation was there before.
Well, that wood chip supported them from twisting their ankles.
Yeah, could be.
I'm just wondering, is there any, like,
We could put cones around there.
grate or
We usually
like
put-
any covering or something?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just because I can see them running and then like, I mean, it'd be like hitting a big old pothole.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, it's
It
not a
is.
bad idea.
I would
I mean,
maybe
just-
look into that,
I'm
just for
looking-
liability.
I can just see like,
Yeah. Or just kids crawling in there getting stuck, or, how big is that hole?
Hopefully they won't, because
Well,
the
kids
hole
don't-
is that big.
How big is it?
They're
think
4-inch
it's
holes,
like-
and there's actually a
yeah,
grate
it's
that,
pretty
there's a
small.
grate, so you can't.
Okay, all right.
yeah, it's pretty small.
Right. Well, you never know. Okay, they got their head
Small.
stuck in it, right?
Yeah. That would not be good.
No.
Security system, the exterior of this campus is pretty much done. We got the airphones up. They're going to do some training in the next week or so. These guys are at a workshop this week, so we're struggling to coordinate that a little bit, but that system should be in place. Well, it will be in place when the kids come. And I feel a lot better about where we're at there. I mean, it's going to be a big improvement to this place. We are in the process of upgrading the Gilbert system so that it's on the same key card system, so we don't have two things to worry about. The water heater over in Gilbert, that was the result of that natural gas leak. So we put a water heater over in the gym. That is all complete, hooked up and working. The signage for the entrances is not here yet. That one's going to be a tight fit, but we should have it in before school starts. The hall lights in the Franklin are done. I mean, that was a beautiful thing. I mean, you can see in there it's going to be a big improvement. We improved the classroom door locks tonight. I just talked about the Gilbert fob system where that is still not complete, but it should be soon. And we have the water fountains in. We just, because we're down to one plumber, we haven't got all of them in yet, but they're here and they're working on it. So a little bit about the timeline, and that's a little fuzzy, but we're still in that green area with the academic task force, and once the academic task force completes the project toward the beginning of September there, we do have, reminder, we have the facilities committee, the finance committee, the communications committee, and the transportation committee. So once we're done with that green part, I'll be calling you guys, send an email out again looking for people for those committees, and we'll get moving on that as well. But I'll let you know when that happens. So this Wednesday over at the park. And the reason that we're over at the Parkview is they're doing construction on the Northeast Service Co-op right now, so that room isn't available to us. But we'll slide back in there probably in October. All right, that's all I got.
How about the board?
Oh, good thing you're here. So on September 10th, which is normally a scheduled board meeting for us, the MSBA is coming at 5 o'clock to have a workshop with us based on your evaluation, or your board self-eval, and then they're going to start talking about moving into my evaluation as well.
What's our enrollment look like so far?
You know, it's too early to tell.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's going to be right around where we left off last year. We actually have a couple more kindergartners than we were anticipating at this point, so that's good. We haven't seen a lot of kids leave yet. I know that we have, if I looked at my ad list, there's probably a dozen new kids that have come in at this point, but in the next couple of weeks, once secretaries are back in other schools, that's when we'll find out, so I'll keep you updated though.
Are they going to do a report on any?
No, we're not. Okay. We're not there yet. Next time.
All right.
I'll give them a break from it.
Okay. All right. So we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn meeting.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.